On that note, why don't we bring in Sarah Vanunu, who is an Australian Jew living in Israel for the past 15 years, I think it is, with her husband and 3 children. Sarah, thanks for joining us tonight.
Thanks for having me.
Sarah, talking to Jewish families here, they say that there's barely anyone in Israel who doesn't personally know someone who's been taken hostage or killed in this attack. And if they don't, then they definitely know someone who's directly affected. Just to give us an idea of the scale of the tragedy in Israel, is that true? And what's the mood like on the ground right now?
Unfortunately, it's very true. Israel is a tiny country. I'm not sure if people seem to grasp how tiny it is, given that it's always in the news. But Israel's a tiny country. Everyone here is personally affected somehow, whether it's having a husband or a father or a brother or a child, fighting on the front lines, or someone who is being called up to the reserves, or someone who is currently missing, unaccounted for, or has been kidnapped or has been killed. Everyone here is affected, and everyone knows someone going through something extremely distressing and traumatic right now.
And Sarah, I'm sure you're following the news here at home as well. How does it feel for you to learn that just mere days after an attack like this, there are rallies in Australia supported by far left fringe groups like the Greens that are showing solidarity with this terrorist action? That must be particularly unsettling for you in your home country.
I wish I could say it was surprising, but it is not surprising. I think there has been growing elements of anti-Semitism and anti-Zionism and whatever excuse they want to be anti, just to be pro-Palestinian. I think that this has been brewing for years, and it's not surprising. Although I think that people need to draw a line between being pro-Palestinian and pro-terrorists. It's okay to be pro-Palestinian and be pro-human rights, but brutally murdering children in cold blood in such a savage way, such a cruel way, taking young women, raping them, dragging their bodies through the streets, taking old grandmothers, murdering them, and then uploading their pictures of their dead bodies on their own Facebook profiles with their phones. This is all real horrific stuff that we are seeing here. This is nothing to do with freedom fighting. This is not even politics. This goes against all legal frameworks of any sort of war or conflict. This is terrorism. This is ISIS. This could happen in New York like it did in 9/11. This can happen in Melbourne. This can happen in Sydney. This can happen in London, in Barcelona, you name it. It can happen anywhere. And what we're seeing here is we're up against ugly, savage people. It's very hard to even call them people. And there is no place in Australian society to be celebrating that kind of cruelty.
And to think some politicians are supporting them.
I couldn't agree more, Sarah. I've been calling them animals all evening because people are incapable of behaving that way. Question, are you seeing any kind of mass exodus? Are people trying to get out of there? Obviously, this is the beginning of a war, as the Israeli Prime Minister has announced. People know that this may well be, they're in it for the long haul at the moment. Are people trying to get out at the moment?
There's a running joke that there are more people that try to leave Israel on a regular basis than people that try to immigrate to Israel. So it's not so uncommon to see Israelis wanting to get out. But jokes aside, no, I'm not seeing a mass exodus. I'm seeing actually the opposite. I think when something like this happens, you sort of rally around a flag and you dig your feet in a little bit deeper and realize that you're part of a movement here. You're part of a people. You're part of a community. This is an attack on all of us, on freedom. This is not just an attack on Jews. And by the way, not only Jewish Israelis were killed. There were many Druze and Arabs and Muslims that were also killed on Saturday. So this is not a reason for anyone to just up and leave, when the going gets tough. So I'm actually seeing the opposite. I'm seeing a lot of patriotism, a lot of people wanting to volunteer and get involved, whether it's donating blood or food supplies and packages and, all sorts of self-care. I'm seeing a lot of people, showing a lot of solidarity. The Australians in Israel as well, I'm seeing, and there's an Australians living in Israel Facebook group. There are around 10 to 12,000 Australians here. And in the Facebook group that I'm the administrator of, there are around 4,000 of us. Mm-hmm. And it's just very heartening to see how many Aussies are out there saying, I've got a spare place in my room in the centre if anyone from the south wants to stay with us. I have a spare car. I've got a vacant place. People are really trying to help each other out here. Good spirits.
Sarah, thanks for joining us tonight. Love to you and your family, and trust you stay safe.
Thank you.